Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. In any argument, you want to hear the both side of the story, which you, in this case, with the grain deliveries, the Ukrainian grain deliveries, you hear only one side most of the time. So it's always good to hear the other side's story, truthful or not. At least we're in a negotiation. You want to hear both sides. Hey, what exactly do you want? And what do you want? Okay, you don't want to hear these guys telling you what the other guys want. We are told like this: hey, the Russians want this, the Russians want that, and this is told by the Ukrainians or by the Americans and all that. They don't ask the Russians, hey, what do you want? You don't hear that. So I'm going to use this video to tell you what the Russians want to achieve in their grain deal and why they stopped agreeing with it. They just withdrew and say, okay, we're not part of it. They think that the deal was not honored by the Western countries. Well, let's see what exactly they want. I have this article from the Russians. So what the Russians say about the conditions to return to the deal. They say, we're going to do this immediately, but that needs to be implemented. Now you can say, well, that's a blackmail. Well, that's in any negotiation. I will do this, but you do this. I don't give and take. It seems like the Russians are just giving, according to the Russians. But I'll let you be the judge. So here is an article from Russia Today, and this is from August 2nd, 2022. Oh, shit, 2023. Russia reminds West of conditions to resume grain deal. Moscow has pressed Kiev's Western backers to drop restrictions on Russian exports. So Russia has said it is prepared to, quote-unquote, immediately resume the defunct Black Sea grain deal, but insisted it would only do so after its conditions are met. Brokered by the United Nations and Turkey, last year the agreement allowed agricultural goods to continue flowing through Ukrainian ports. Speaking after Washington's United Nations envoy Linda Thompson-Greenfield, I hate her, I gotta tell you, I know that because of her statements, claimed that Russian government might be interested in returning to discussions and quote about the grain deal. Earlier on Tuesday, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov clarified the Russian stance in comments to Sputnik, and I'm quoting Peskov. Moscow is ready to immediately return to the grain deal, but this will take place only after the conditions concerning Russia are fulfilled, end quote, he told the outlet. So what happened here? So this include the conditions. This include lifting Western sanctions on Russian grain and fertilizer exports, reconnecting Russian financial institutions to the SWIFT payment system, and ending restrictions on Russian imports of spare parts for agriculture machinery. Okay, so this is what they want. It says here, we have been receiving promises for an entire year. Because it says Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Vershinin also explained that the grain deal is still technically in effect, but noted that the Western sanctions relief mandated under the agreement had not come to fruition. So they say, well, give us this. And here is what the Russians say. The last part, mediated with the help of the United Nations and Ankara, the agreement was established in July 2022, creating a humanitarian corridor through the Black Sea to allow grain and fertilizer shipments to leave Ukrainian ports. Moscow repeatedly complained about its unmet conditions before allowing the deal to expire on July 18, also insisting that Kiev has exploited the safe corridor to launch military attacks on Russia. Well, you like it or you don't like it, this is what the Russians say. You hear the Ukrainians what they say, you hear the Americans, but this is coming from the horse's mouth, as they say it here in America. You make your own mind. If you're in a deal and you try to implement both sides, then they should be honored by both sides. In this case, the Russians complain, no. Do the Russians try to get something on their advantage? Of course. I mean, they fight for their country, obviously. In the situation where they are, they try to, in a way, make sure that their interests are, met. And Who doesn't want to do that? Ukraine wants to do the same thing. The Americans want to do the same thing. So no surprise here. So regarding this, if you give me something, I will give you something. You call that a blackmail? Could be. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're going to be talking and the war continues. People die. People will be, displaced. And other people, this is what bothers me, count their money. Okay? And these guys are dying. I don't like that a bit. This could have been avoided. Minsk agreements should have been implemented. No. No overthrow of a legitimate government of Ukraine in 2014 with the help of outside forces. It happened. No extension or an extension. Yeah, we can say extension or expanding of NATO troops, countries, NATO towards Russia. That created those guys say, wait a second, you're coming too close. And what did the other guys say? You. Well, I guess. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.